team. I love you more than being 17.
Man, rock climbing is so special to me. Specifically the bouldering discipline. You know, it's like a puzzle in a lot of regards, and so many aspects of yourself go into it. What may be easier for you may not be easier for someone else, and vice versa. Your strengths and your weaknesses come into play. A lot of the time, if you try to employ other people's techniques and sequences, they're often not going to work out in the ways that they work out for other people. You'll get good, and there are optimal things that you should do, but that's more fundamental. Whereas you need to do stuff your way to succeed at a certain point, or you will be hard capped and plateaued before you know it. One of the coolest things about finding a boulder out there for me is the duality of the different styles that are required to climb certain problems. Some of them, you know, on the bottom section are big moves that are, you know, pretty stout and burly, and you need to be just going for these big moves, and then in like giant pinches, and you need to be cutting your feet and hanging there and, you know, getting back on the wall. Whereas, you know, you get out from that underhang, or that overhang rather, and, you know, you get up and suddenly you're doing what we call like more slab. And that simply means that you're using more technique and body tension, not really power. You know, you're positioning your hands in such a way that, you know, you're grabbing, and, you know, you're keeping your body very flat, and you're not sticking too much mass out to pull you off the wall, because it's very delicate. Your footholds are very small, and can be very small, and your hands are you know, kind of they're not really there. You're just kind of holding to keep yourself stabilized, and you need to work it out. And it just goes from this total mentality of like, get it, you know, get that hold, to, all right, let's get this hold. It's super interesting, and completing a boulder like that is super satisfying because it shows a level of mastery. It shows that you can employ that technique, but you also know when to kind of use your power, kind of like a resource. And man, when you try this boulder and you can't quite do it, or you barely do it, and, you know, it's a struggle and a half, and it looks kind of pathetic the first time you do it, you know, 2 summers ago or 1 summer ago. Then you come back to it after you've been progressing, and you don't really know you've been progressing because it's so current and in the moment, but you've been getting better. You know, you've been putting, you know, it doesn't feel like you've been getting better. You just keep falling because you keep pushing grades and pushing your limit. That's the only way to get better, is to put yourself in these uncomfortable positions that are barely doable for yourself, and conquering that, or at least working on that level consistently. That's the only way you're going to progress. And when you come back to these problems that were initially just daunting or barely doable, and then you just crush it, that is like physical proof that you've just gotten so much better and so much more talented at the sport. That level of mastery is developing. And, you know, that goes on forever. You will die before you reach what you're probably capable of. It's crazy. It is so exponential, and there is always something to work on and progress at. And that is addicting to me, and I love it. That is, in essence, all that I have been attracted to in life, is figuring out how to do something your way, and just working it out and succeeding in a way that makes sense to you, and isn't it isn't something that someone else gave to you.